Today, I have Ryan here, who is somebody that I've been working with for the last 12 months. And I want to say congratulations to you, Ryan, because you have just recently graduated from our Thinking into Results mentorship. So well done. And let's take you back. Let's take you back in the last 12 months. So you started in March of 2021. I have to think about that because the years and weeks and
Sure.
days are going so quick, right? Already in the fourth month of this year, can you believe? Right. So 2021 March, you came to me. What was life like before taking on the mentorship? Like, where were you in your life, in your business?
Wow. Well, I mean, that's a how much time we have? Not that long. Yeah, so it's good to be here, and thank you. But it was in a quick, simple way. It was very hectic. Um, while I felt like I was getting a lot done, I was very busy, very emotionally charged, without thought. Um, Sometimes I felt like life was at a dead end, and there was nowhere else to go. A lot of anxiety, a lot of anxiety, and trying to be perfect, trying to figure everything out. So it was a swirl. How about
Yeah.
that? And I'm not talking about ice cream either. I'm talking about it was mentally decapitating is what it felt like.
Yeah.
So,
And then we had a bit of a chat, and I told you about the mentorship, told you about thinking results, which you knew about before anyway, because you were looking into it yourself.
mhm.
You came on board, you've gone through the whole program, you've gone through the process. And how is life like now that you've gone through this?
Less assuming in the wrong way, more assuming in the right way. Slower, kind of, but faster. And that's if you really want to find out more, if you're watching this interview one day, that's why you need to do things like this, because it's not really understood until you do it.
Mhm.
Probably more energy than I ever have had, which is really crazy because I'm 50 and I'm not old, but I feel like I'm 30.
Wow.
Very non-linear to what I thought before, but not linear, more leaping. So yeah, and calmer, which is again, that's that combination, it's like an athlete who like slows the game down and still like produces like mega stats. That's how I
But let's talk about your stats. Let's talk about your results.
feel.
That was a good segue in. So, I mean, you had quite a few goals that you wanted to achieve.
Mhm.
Talk to us about the goals that you had. So, what was the first goal that you really wanted to achieve?
Well, one of the goals at the time was for really much our family to make $100,000, to really make $100,000, and we had been in a situation where we had been it's super been dry, and so that goal was met probably 3 months after we started, and literally the $100,000 came in one project, through a business venture that we have. Um, that was one of the goals. The other goal was to start. Well, I had written a book previously, but I didn't know what I wanted to do. But I've now written a book. I wrote a book, but I never published it. And so this time I wrote the book in like 3 months and published it, and now it's on Amazon. So I did that. Um,
What's the
I
title
think
of the
my
book? So those people who are interested in reading it.
talk about the book. Is that what you said? I'm sorry.
Yeah, what's the title
Yeah,
of the
yeah. The name of the book is Imaginability. So I want you to think about the idea of illogical, imaginative, intuitive thinking. And so it's about turning on your creative power internally so you can externally live healthy. So mind development, poetry, self development, poetry, spiritual, emotional, mental genre. Very simple, though. I'm not Edgar Allan Poe. I'm not Robert Frost. I'm Ryan Grubb. So, and I am smart, but I'm smart enough to know that most people just want a really good meal and a nice beer instead of a, you know, expensive waste of time. And so that's what the book's about. It's poetry, it's narrations about my life after each poem. So it's a little long. So pick your poison, and poison meaning good, and understand the identity of yourself through the poetry. And then there's a little reflection you can do. It's not a self-development book. It's not a get fixed quick book. It's more of a ponder. It's more of an awareness book, similar to the books that I've read by Bob Proctor or Eckhart Tolle or Neville Goddard. So yeah, that's the book. And the second one, Illogicology.
I love the name. Yeah.
Expecting the Unexpected is coming out here soon, probably the next month or so. Got illustrations to finish, a forward to get. And then the third book, Flow.
Are you in the third book? You didn't tell me that. Okay.
Coming out at the end of the summer. And that one's a spiritual and energy collaboration. So kind of like the flux capacitor. Now the flux capacitor went up like this. It came down in the Back to the Future movie, kind of like the cross. All of those things wrapped into one for your opportunity. So yeah, there we are.
So looking forward to that. Love it. Okay, so the first goal was the money goal, to sort your financial situation out in the home, in the business.
Right.
Within 3 months of starting, you got $100,000 project.
Right.
Congratulations for that.
Thank you.
I mean, that's beyond people's thinking, comprehension.
Sure.
In 3 months, wow, 100,000, right?
Sure.
And then your other goal was to write a book.
Right.
Not just write it, but publish it, which you've done. Say it's out on Amazon.
Right.
You've written a second one.
Right.
You're on your third.
Right.
So things are happening. And then what else has happened for you?
Health-wise, my wife has been brutally sick. She had sickle cell carcinoma. When I say that to people, they kind of, their eyes get big. Their eyes get really big because it's mouth cancer, it's throat cancer. It's pretty terminal. It's about as terminal as breast cancer or pancreatic cancer. And so to rewind that, I had Lyme's disease and mono in 2020. So that was my COVID-19 visit. And so between that and her being sick and having surgery after surgery and biopsy after biopsy and CT scan after CT scan, we just threw everything at the kitchen sink. And we said, look, we're going to be positive. We're going to imagine this is gone. We're going to put everything on the table, everything that's non-traditionally based, every metabolic oncology process, every non-labeled drug, off-label drug, every therapy that is not hurtful. But she did chemo, she did radiation, now she's doing this IV treatment, which goes on to say that at the end of December, she was given a stage 4 diagnosis.
Wow.
Stage 4, that's terminal. That means she's going to die. That means you will die. And so I started preparing, not necessarily for death, but just kind of the what ifs, to be a good husband and father. And meanwhile, I've got a daughter in Boston, Massachusetts. I've got a daughter in private school. And the money's not really flowing still. We've spent the money and we're having to just keep going. So we're looking at everything. And so I kept studying, kept looking, kept studying, kept looking, kept studying, kept looking. And then she started immunotherapy, which is an IV therapy, in January. And they basically said 25% of people get better. Well, I said, well, she's part of that 25 and she's going to get better and it's not going to even matter about the immuno. She's doing everything else. And she's starting to think imaginatively about what she wants. Well, where she got the diagnosis in the lungs, 2 nodules in the lungs. So it went from her mouth to her throat to her lungs. Okay. To explain to everybody, most people would have said, forget it. They would have said, the hell with it. I didn't say that. I said, you know what? Nope. I got up every morning and said, no. And so when it got to her lungs, they basically said, yeah, you know what? We can do immunotherapy and see if it works. And she started throwing everything at the kitchen sink. Well, on March 1st, she got a phone call to get a PET scan, which is a scan of her whole body. And when she got the original one, she was in room 9 on the 3rd floor. I can tell you where it is right now. There's big glass windows that look out of the University of Virginia. But when she went back to get the next test, she went back into that room and she imagined. She said, this is what's going to happen. I'm going to be cancer-free. This is going away. And she played the tape. And every day she played the tape. Well, they called her 2 weeks earlier for the PET scan. And guess the day of the PET scan was her birthday. Okay. So she went in, got the PET scan, and I was at work. And I work as a therapist and a coach and a writer and an author and everything else, collaborator. And I'm sitting there, just working and finishing up my day. And I get a phone call, look down. She says she wants me to call her. She has good news. And I'm like, well, maybe it's gotten less. It's great. It's gotten less. And she calls me. She goes, it's gone. And I kind of sat there on the phone, kind of in a revelation of like I was like numb, not like. And she said, I said, "It's gone." She said, "It's gone." She goes, "There's no nodules on my lungs. The lymph nodes are down. They can't find anything." And I said, "Okay." I got off the phone. I didn't cry because I was so kind of
I'm
emancipated.
going to cry in a minute. Wow.
But I was just tired. And I think I wept. I think I wept later. I think I wept. I think I built a huge puddle in the middle of Charlottesville later. No, I'm just kidding. I didn't do that.
No, but if I can just quickly jump in here. Don't mean
yeah.
to, but I think I need to, because I followed this whole process of when you first told me about your wife. In the coaching sessions, the one-on-one coaching sessions, you've mentioned this so many times, and there were times when you were completely lost, and of course you would be. You were taking on so much, but you were putting on a brave face, and to come out of that now, and to hear you, and to hear what you've told us. I mean, I knew that because you shared this with me privately, but I just got to say hats off to you. I can't say anything more, but hats off to you. The way that you've handled this, the way you've come out of it, and it's almost like you've just deleted it all. You really have. You have been one of the best clients that I've worked with, I've got to say.
Oh, wow. Thank you. That's awesome to hear. I really appreciate that. Yeah. I mean, and I could say, oh, you have to, right, delete it, but you don't have to. You choose to delete it. You choose to, and it takes, I don't want to say time, it takes decision. It's kind of like what it says in chapter 12 of Thinking Results and Magnify Your Mind. It says, just decide. And when you really decide, it means you just go, you don't go, yeah, I'm going to do it. You just go, okay, I decide. I choose. And so that difference in that spirit is way different than what I used to do. It was like, I got to do it. And it would wear you out. Yeah. And this is a different approach.
Wow. So your life has completely changed.
Yes.
Like what Bob says in the lesson, in one of the lessons, he says, you need a telescope to look back and last 12.
Yes. And on top of that, all of the things that have happened with her health, she's now launched her coaching business again. She has an essential oils business that is actually starting to grow and develop. She has a test prep business that is the $100,000 project thing that they're giving her small little projects again. We're going to breed our dog, which is a championship golden. I mean, all these things are happening. I got a new job in the therapy field, making probably double the amount of money I've been making. Start that soon. I'm relaunching my coaching business. I got books. I mean, it's a different game.
What do you think has changed that? What do you think has happened from what you've just described, where you were 12 months ago, to where you are now in this position? What do you think that has happened for you to just change your whole thinking process? What have you actually done, and how has the mentorship helped you with that? Has it helped?
The first thing is you have to sit within yourself and really see where you are.
Yeah.
And realize that sometimes there's a storm. I mean, I'll tell you, the first time before I met you, when I was doing Bob Proctor coaching, before I met that, I started researching Napoleon Hill, and I was looking at his whole 6 steps, and I was overwhelmed. I'm like, how do I do this? How do I write this? What do I do? So you have to start.
Mm-hmm.
That's the first thing you have to do. And you have to start without any assumption. You have to just do it. And it will feel messy. It will feel dizzy. It will feel chaotic, but we're already chaotic. Mm-hmm. It's kind of like somebody that's always busy and they never stop. They're only busy because they're afraid to stop.
Yeah.
So I had to do that first. Then I had to really kind of evaluate where we were. This is where we are. Mm-hmm. Okay. We can't go any further down. So I need to step in. Then I started to get involved in investing in myself, masterminding, doing studies. But the 12-month mentorship, that's what that really helped me do, is to set up foundations that were calm foundations, not just do it. When I first started, I was just doing it. Like I was doing it. I got to do it. And like that energy was still very non helpful, was very linear, you know. But over time, I kept doing that. I kept doing the studies, opening the book, studying the book, understanding 20 minutes here, 20 minutes there, 20 minutes here, 20 minutes there. And then I started to implement it into my business work. And then I started to believe that where I was in my work, I needed to be somewhere else. And then I got there. And now I'm going somewhere else again. Okay. And so that's what really helped me. But the biggest thing that helped me was the fact that I have the ability to think.
Mm.
It doesn't matter how much debt you're in. It doesn't matter how much is going on around you. I'm proof of that.
Yeah.
Like I'm like in the NBA, like the national bat, they have a little silhouette of a dude. I'm the dude for that now. I'm the G, okay, Grubb. Because if you ask me a question, I'm not going to tell you something that's indifferent to what I've been through. And so those are things. And then the final thing that helped me is the fact that now I'm through it. I'm still getting up and doing it. I did it this morning. I did it, yesterday. I did it Saturday. I did it Friday. I was out of town. I did it. I want to do it. I want to do it. And so, like any person that goes to work, a lot of them don't want to go.
Yeah.
You have to want to do it. And so it just builds. And
so you formed a habit.
Yes.
And that brings me on to the study club, the 6 a.m. study club that I do, and that you were attending every single day. With everything that you've just described that was going on in your life, you were still coming on every day, and you were disciplined, you were persistent, you were consistent. And, do you think that has helped in any way?
No question. It's repetition. And I think people really have this. My goal is to build self-imaging dynamics in my business. That's it. People say, well, you're a therapist. You should be doing clinical. That's what clinical work is. Okay. But repetition, when you really know what it is when a wheel goes around and it's still oiled. Okay. Or when you take a jump shot in practice, you see where your wrist is not going up or how far you need to go, and you keep getting better. Mm-hmm. Or you watch the video over. Why do coaches watch video? They watch, he did that, he did that, he did that. Okay, do this. Okay, to switch it. But in order to switch it, you got to do it. Mm-hmm. Then you can, and be it, then you can do it, being and doing together. So, of course, like I got up, I was with you, I was with another individual, a couple other individuals. You get to settle into a different space, and you get to embrace the present before anything happens. It's not a introvert extrovert comparison. It's not a I'm loud and you're soft comparison. It's just doing it, being. Most people don't want to get up at 6 a.m. And so when you start to fight that, then you never do it. So, I mean, to me, it's really following something that's bigger than me, like the universe, the spirit. That's big. That's probably part of it. So and I've been waking up. I woke up at 5:15 this morning. I woke up at 5:15. I just woke up. The alarm didn't even go off. I'm like, the alarm's not supposed to go off till 5:35. I got up. I'm like, forget it. I'm downstairs.
But that's the beauty of it, isn't it? That then you don't even need an alarm clock to wake you up, because again,
I haven't had to have one.
It's all about forming a good habit and getting into that space, and starting off your morning the right way, rather than grabbing your mobile phone and having a look at who's messaged and what's going on in Facebook and blah blah blah. Mm-hmm. The other question I really wanted to ask you, and then we'll wrap it up, is you've invested in yourself. You've invested time in yourself. You've invested energy. You've invested money in yourself. Mm-hmm. If you had to do all that over again, would you?
Yeah, I would do it. I would do it because what I've learned from monetary spending, and I want to explain to people, I'm not like this millionaire. Okay, I'm not a millionaire, not yet. Okay. But in order to become something you're not, you have to invest. I'll give you an example. Like I work out twice a day. People are like, you're nuts. You work out twice a day. What on earth do you do that for? I've heard that from people. Well, that tone of that response is the exact reason why you don't do it.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm not telling you to go work out twice a day. Maybe you work out once and you get what you want, but I do it twice because it's insanity is doing the same thing over and over again and expecting a different result. I don't get a different result. I mean, the same result. I get different results because I move my body in different ways. So that's the investment. And when you challenge yourself, you go, oh my gosh, I'm at that wall. Oh, keep going. Oh, keep going, keep going, keep going. Okay. So that's what I did. So I would totally do it again. Totally. I mean, yeah, 100%. Because I think there's a deception in the world. People want everything for free. They want it more for free now than they did before.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why people who are not like willing to go out of their way, I'm not saying go spend like $10 a day at Starbucks or $15 at Starbucks, be smart. But if you're investing,
Yeah.
you should buy the nicer bike or I went to a gala with my wife last weekend, buy a suit, do it.
Well, that's the thing with money, isn't it? The more you spend, the more it comes back to you. There's a
Yes.
law behind that.
Yes.
You hold on to your money, nothing's going to come to you.
No,
So
no, you're gonna actually, it's actually gonna go away. And that happened to us.
yeah,
So that happened to us before I started this program.
yeah.
And we were just running out of money and not gaining anything back. Well, now we're gaining stuff back while we're still spending.
So if you want money to come to you, because money's supposed to be circulated, go out and invest in yourself. I'm not saying pay a couple of £100 here and there or $100 or whatever. I'm talking about big investment. If you invest big, you will reap that back 100 times, 1,000 times.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, the investment that you've invested in yourself, not just through this process and my mentorship, but through other investments that you've made in your personal growth, that has got you to where you are today. Mm-hmm. And also, we can't do it on our own. That's the other thing. We always, I used to think this as well, that, I'll do it my way. But my way wasn't working, right? I'm sure your way wasn't working for you, right? So we need accountability. I think that is super, super important to get to where you want to get to. So would you say the accountability has helped you? Would you say that it was the right accountability that you got to get to?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, no question. I mean, it has to be the right accountability, number one. But for me, it was because it was professional. It was direct, and it was helpful. So yeah, absolutely. I mean, and people they can't be scared of accountability. I think I used to be scared of accountability because I don't want anybody to see the bad side of me, and I'm like, here it is. Smell it, taste it, hear it, whatever you want to do. I mean, everybody has challenges and circumstances in their life. What you do with them is the difference. So
yeah, well, that's the thing. You've got to be open and honest. First to yourself, and secondly to a coach or a mentor that you're hiring. Because if you're not open and honest, then that coach mentor cannot help you. It can only help you so far. Yeah, you got to be open and honest and transparent with what's going on, so you can get the right help. Yeah. Ryan, thank you so much. Thank you so much for your time. And congratulations once again. It's been a pleasure working with you over the last 12 months. It's been a pleasure actually seeing you grow and achieve every goal that you've set yourself. And I know you're going out there to set even bigger goals. So, the very best to you. And I know you can do it. This is just the beginning for you. I've said it before, but it is just the beginning. Keep going. Keep going.
Thank you.